but even from a bigger picture of just like of self, like what do you need? And I think that's the one thing that we neglect a lot of times, whether it's being a man, whether it's being a woman, them, they, anything in between. Like, what do you actually need?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, like when you ask that question, a lot of people don't know what they need because they're so focused and fixated on the expectations that other people have, of the comparison of what they see out there, where they're not at, who they feel like they want to be versus who they are right now. And we just like, we neglect that part of ourselves. And I think that's the hard part of this human experience, and being able to connect with people is because a lot of us don't know what we need.
As you can see, how we
Hey.
And I don't plan on coming at you with no crazy like statistical questions or anything like that. But I feel like from the questions I ask you, the people will be able to see that you have some expertise. And obviously, you are for me, you are one of the most decorated and like one of the most awarded guests I've had. So that's probably adding to my nerves, but it's like I also know you and you my boy. So I'm trying to make sure that we do this right. But I'm very eager and very excited to talk to you because, like I said, I got many questions for you. And you are very consistent in certain ways, but you're also very inconsistent in certain ways, which we will get into later. But first off, I want to say, how are you? How have you been? What have you been doing? And talk about, first off, how's life been after graduation?
Yeah, first of all, I appreciate you having me on your show. You know what I mean? This is a long time coming.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been trying to like link and make this happen, but I feel this opportunity to do it is like really, really perfect because like I'm about to leave. Yeah. So we found the time to make it happen. And it's like fresh off of graduation. So I'm like really feeling good.
Yes, sir.
To answer your question, I'm walking into a new chapter. I'm closing the door of an old chapter, and I'm in that like in between where I'm haven't fully walked in and I haven't fully closed the door. So it's really just taking the time to like process how I'm feeling and trying not to get too caught up in like what's coming next, but also taking the time to really honor where I've come prior to get me to this point. So I'm in this like weird middle stage of just trying to be present, trying to be where my feet are and like enjoy this end of a chapter and moving into the next phase of life.
Okay. Because I do want to go back a little bit into like how you got here at UK and what you were able to do. Because as I said, you've done a lot of things here at the University of Kentucky, which I have not the University of Kentucky, but this area of Lexington, I have some ties to as well as far as my family. But I just want to know what kind of brought you here and what are some things that you are very happy that you've accomplished since you've been here.
Yeah, for one, I would say what brought me here was honestly my family.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Massachusetts, and when it came to coming to college when I was in undergrad, I wanted to go the furthest away from my city as I possibly can. I was in that stage where it's like, I need something new. I need something fresh. I applied to like 17 schools, but yeah, I know 17 schools. I got into 16 of them. I only got denied by one. But when it came down to make the decision, it really came down to I only got to visit a couple of schools, and the schools I visited were the ones in Kentucky because I was visiting my family here, and it just happened to align with the schedule. And I had a cousin who was really like, and he's really, from a sports perspective, he is not a UK fan at all. Like, he does not care about UK, but he was really like, yo, if you're gonna go anywhere in this state of Kentucky, go to Kentucky. Like, go to UK.
Okay.
And then when I was like really thinking about it and evaluating, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a chance. It's far enough where I'm away from home, but it's close enough where I have some level of like familiarity and I can hop on a plane. Yeah. So I got here my freshman year, finished in 4, went to my master's, and then when it came back, the work that I did in my freshman year of like starting a student organization and really just trying to help bring people together on campus, create community, help lead me to creating connections in my college and other places where I was able to get into my PhD program for a full ride. So,
full ride. That is a blessing, my boy, because I got some college debt for sure, and I'm handling it, but it's a blessing when you don't have it. And I do want to take a moment really quick because we met at Black Tech Week in Cincinnati, Ohio. Shout out to my city. And I have to at least acknowledge the fact that we met from a mutual friend.
Oh, for sure.
Someone that I went to college with. Her name is Tashaya. So Tashaya, shout out to you. Hopefully you watching this.
That's the homie.
Because when I think about how we were both in the same place, but we might have met. Like, just based off our personalities, we might have met, but we already had a mutual friend, which I think helped us to meet each other. And then after meeting you, seeing some of the similarities, like there are many differences, but we also have many similarities between us, and I can really appreciate that.
And you know what the funny thing was? I remember like her putting us in a group chat.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, bro, who is this guy?
Yeah,
like,
at first I was like
I don't know.
Usually this kind of thing don't work if you don't, naturally make it happen. But I was like, okay. She said 2 black men that are both, very similar. And I think that it would be very good if both of y'all met, because I see some similarities and some positivity between the both of you. I was like, okay.
And it took us a while to like coordinate a time to actually meet too.
Yeah, because I think it was the same day. It was the same day that she sent that. And I was like, okay, I'll try and find him. Then we found each other and I was like, oh shoot, dude is cool. Dude is cool.
Nah,
and we've been locked in,
locked in, bro.
Like, locked in ever since, man. And like, to touch on how we've been locked in, basically, I can appreciate the fact that we met that day when both of us maybe had some reservations about what is going on. Like, who is this guy? I don't know this guy. Like, yeah, I guess you might think that he's cool to me, but I don't know him for myself. But then since then, the most unfortunate meeting was at that Bengals game. Where
that was a great meeting for me.
The Bengals lost to the Patriots. That was very unfortunate.
Hey, that's a great meeting for me.
Won't happen again. So I'm not gonna trip on that. Then I would say one of the coolest experiences was when I saw you at the Thanksgiving event that you held, because I think that really spoke to the person that you are on campus, the people that show up for you, because this is not during school. Or it's during the school year, but obviously school is out. Yeah. I came from out of town. I'm very sure some other people came from out of town, and then so many people showed up just to make sure that it was an event that, was worth people's time and make sure that they felt at home away from home. So I kind of want you to speak about why you do events like that, why you were here.
Yeah. So when it came to the Thanksgiving dinner, what ended up happening is, like, I've always, when I was an undergrad and when I was in my master's, throughout my life, I always had the privilege of going somewhere with family during Thanksgiving and holidays. And I had one year where my grandmother passed away the day after my birthday. My birthday's October 30th, so she passed away on Halloween. My parents came up early in November for that, and it didn't make sense for me to go back home for Thanksgiving because I was going to go home like a week or two later because that's when the school ended. And so I was like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Like, I got family in Kentucky. I could always just go to Thanksgiving with Kentucky. And when I was talking to some of the people on campus, like, hey, so what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? What's going on? Like, are you going anywhere? I was almost like heartbroken by how many people were like, I can't go home. Like, I'm not going home. I'm not going anywhere. I just have to be here. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, are y'all going to link up, or like, what's going on? You guys going to come together or anything? And a lot of people were like, no, we're just going to be at the crib chilling. And like, my parents raised me to be very, very family oriented. And I think a byproduct of that is like really loving and caring about community and the communities that you serve and the communities that you're a part of and seeing them as family. So when I recognized how many people didn't have a place to go, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to get everybody together. I'm not going to cook. The first year I was like, yo, I'm not going to cook.
Not going to cook.
I can buy all the food and I can find somebody to cook all the food.
So you weren't going to cook because you cannot cook?
I can cook, but it's like, yo, that cooking is a labor of love, truly.
Right.
And it's not that I didn't want to cook. I just didn't think I was the best person to cook.
Makes sense.
So I wanted to make sure that it came from somebody who like really had a lot more experience of doing that, right?
I would do that too, so I get it.
Yeah. So, but what ended up happening is the night before Thanksgiving, like, I had like all the food. I'm at my homeboy's crib and I'm waiting for the person who I got to cook to come over. And bro, the way my anxiety set up is like, I like things like a particular way, especially like when I'm planning and organizing it. And I was like reaching out to this person and they never got back to me. So I'm texting like, hey, what you doing? Like, yo, we got the food. Are you still coming up? Da, 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 da. And it got to maybe like 7 or 8 o'clock and I didn't hear nothing. And the way that my brain works is like, I can't rely on you to come and do all of this because we're pushing it. So now let me take control and let me figure it out. So I'm at my homeboy's crib, calling my mom. He's calling his mom. We in there whipping it up. Shouts to Zamad, man, in the dungeon. Yo, we're cooking. Like, I'm like trying to cook. I don't have everything. I'm like, yo, can somebody give me a ride to get whatever? And made it happen. Next day, had all the food, had all the spread. And I was like, oh man, I feel good. This is a beautiful thing. I'm happy I was able to feed. I think that year we had like 27, 28 people.
The first time you did it?
Yeah.
Golly.
So being able just to cook for all those people was like cool. And then the next year, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go home. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna go home. It's cool. But then I had a lot of people reach out and like, hey, like I'm not going anywhere for Thanksgiving this year. Are you cooking again? Like I would love to come because I don't have anywhere to go. And I think that's for me was like, I got to keep this going.
Yeah.
So from that year, I did 4 years straight of just like cooking. And after the first year, I was like, I'll cook it myself. Like it's all good.
Okay. Because you did cook some. And I mean, I just remember a lot of hands being on it. And I remember thinking, I'm not a student here. Yeah. So I felt like an outsider. But at the same time, I felt very involved, like I was a part of the community as well, which I thought was really cool. Because if I'm feeling like that and I'm not a student here, I'm very sure that the students here feel very involved and feel, you know, like the love and the labor of love that's put behind the food that was made for them.
Yeah, that's 2 days in the kitchen cooking. And it's to be honest with you, like it's not even like a bad thing for me. Like it was an honor every year being able to do that and to serve my community and serve people because, again, I know what it feels like to not feel seen, right? I know what it feels like to not belong or to feel alone. And holidays are one of those days where like that magnifies 10 times because you see everybody else with somebody or their family or people. Yeah. So if I'm able to create that space for someone who might not have anywhere to go or somebody who, you know, you might be working that day and you don't have a plate and I could just bring you a plate. Like to me, that's what really mattered. It's like giving people just a taste of love, a taste of community, a taste of somebody caring about you. That's what's important to me.
Okay. So one way, like earlier I said, like how you can be very consistent. So I was thinking that in a lot of the work that I've seen you do, I kind of feel how you try to make people feel at home or feel love. Because I know you talk about, you know, love, relationships and relationships with yourself. When I was there, it felt like a home away from home, as I said, and I'm not even a student here. But that's something that I wanted to do as far as making home away from home feel like home. And I know that's something that you wanted to do. So do you feel like you did a great job of accomplishing that while you were here? Because I know that's something that it seemed like you set out to do.
I think I did a great job. I think I did a really, really great job. And I think that's why, one of the reasons why people really gravitate to me and the things that I do and are very loving towards me is because of the ways in which I love other people. Yeah, I definitely think from a more critical side of myself, there's always so much more I could have done. And there's so much more that I wanted to do. But I think from what I've done, what I've accomplished, the lives I've impacted, like I would be lying to myself if I didn't recognize, like I did a lot from my undergrad all the way through to now. And it's funny because it's like one of my homeboys called me the other day and he graduated when I graduated and he was just hooping randomly somewhere in Atlanta. And he was talking to this guy and he was like, oh yeah, he went to the University of Kentucky, such and such. And my homeboy was like, yo, do you know Nigel? And dude was like, Unc? Yeah, like of course I know Unc. Like, yo, who doesn't know Unc? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think like moments like that help me answer that question of like what I've been able to do and the impact I'm able to have. Because like there's not that many people who knows somebody from, I got into college 2012. From 2012 all the way to now, I think we're on class 26 or 27. Like I know somebody in that class from since then. You know what I mean? And I feel like that being able to help people in there. Yeah,
so you basically saying how you know people from the class that you came in with all the way up through those classes.
Yeah. Ooh, and you got to factor in too. Like I came in 2012, but there were I think seniors who came in at what's that? 9? So I've known classes from 09 all the way to...
Dang, that's like a 13-year span worth of classes of people that you know. I really love to think about that in that way because, again, I've seen that you have wanted to make home where you are, basically. And I've seen you talk about how, you know, happiness kind of is where you are and not really anywhere else. You have to start with yourself. So what about yourself has made you want to kind of do these kinds of things for other people? Because I know that you haven't always really felt that kind of love from others. So what has made it easier for you to be able to spread that to others?
I think you hit it right there. Just like the pain that I've experienced growing up. I think being an only child, being somebody who I was at one point the youngest of my family. So I'm always was looking for validation, or I was looking for confirmation of like, it's okay to show up as who you are. And I think because I was always trying to please other people's image or like what they wanted from me or their own expectations, but always falling short, it put me in like a really, really dark place of just not knowing who I am and not feeling comfortable showing up as myself and feeling very lonely and feeling abandoned by a lot of different people. And I think because I know that pain and I know how much that pain impacted me in the time span that I felt it, I always wanted to make it a mission that whoever I came across, like it doesn't matter if it's the University of Kentucky, at Black Tech Week, if it's at CultureCon, if it's at a random Kroger, like whoever I talk to, you know what I mean? That you feel as if I'm a safe space for you, that you feel seen, that you feel heard, that you feel like you belong, that you feel like somebody cares about you. Because I know what it was like to put on a mask and walk around the world and be like, yeah, everything's okay. But secretly, like, it wasn't for me. So I think because I know that depth, it makes me really want to go hard for other people to allow them to feel seen.
Okay, so do you feel like, because it sounds like you're healing yourself by helping others heal. That sound correct?
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like I've also dealt with something like that. Whenever, like when I hear about your experiences, I think about how mine can mirror in a way. Now, there have been people that have always really poured into me and have always believed in me, but then there have still been times where even I didn't believe in myself. And I think that's always a very interesting position to be in because plenty of people believe in me. I don't think that anyone wants me to do things for them. They want me to do what I need to do for me to be happy. But even still, I can't always find the words or the ideas to maybe do that. So I know that, but I always have felt like whenever I'm doing things for other people, I do feel better. And it always inspires something in me to be like, maybe this is how I can serve people in this way. Or, you know, this is how I can continue to serve myself by doing this. Because again, like speaking to people, sometimes I feel like when I talk to others and I let them share, I almost feel like I might be healing myself in a way because maybe we have similar stories or we share the same, but you're saying the words that I couldn't say. So I can always think about how this helps me to heal, but it also helps others heal. So I feel like that's a way that we kind of relate.
Yeah. And my question for you is, like, you talked about having people pour into you.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you was always receptive of receiving that love that they were giving to you? Or do you think at times you've pushed that away?
Okay. I think typically I'm very receptive of it. I know that people love me, and I always, in the back of my mind, think someone might say, you should do this, you should do that. Sometimes it's maybe them projecting something onto me that they wish they did. So I do keep that in mind. But I know that they're asking this of me because they believe in me. They believe I can do it. And because you believe I can do it, I can appreciate that and receive that. But there have been times where maybe I'm a little deflective with it. It's like, yeah, you say this, but I can't do that. Sometimes I can't tell if that's me being realistic or if that's me being pessimistic in a way. So I feel like I'm very receptive of it, but sometimes maybe not so much.
Do you feel like you're good at taking compliments?
Yeah, I do think I'm pretty good at taking compliments. I won't be like, no, I'm not. Like if someone says you're smart, I believe that. And that's humbly, I believe that because I had to prove that to myself and show it to myself so I can accept that. I can't think of a specific example of like when I don't accept a compliment, but I'm usually just very appreciative because you didn't have to say that. Yeah. But I thank you that I appreciate that you did. So because you said that, I'm going to try to receive it.
You said something interesting. Like, okay. If somebody complimented you and told you that you were smart, it's because you already proved it to yourself. What about for the things that you haven't proved to yourself?
Oh my gosh, here we go. Okay, about the things I haven't proved to myself, can I receive a compliment like that? Ooh, maybe not. Maybe not. Only because I feel like whatever someone says to me, I have to believe it first. Because if you say it, but I don't believe it, that it doesn't do anything. But if I already believe it, you kind of reaffirm it. And now I feel even stronger behind that. So if someone says you're the best podcaster in the world, I'd be like, not yet, maybe, you know what I'm saying? But that is something that they believe that I have the potential to do that. But I know that there's plenty of work to be done. So maybe it makes it harder for me to receive it.
It's interesting because that's a really great example because I think that's where, like, even myself, I've struggled with, right? It's like how we measure success. So if somebody tells you you're the best podcaster in the world, you look at it from a grander scale of like, yo, all these podcasters in the world, but like to them in their own individual, like in their world, you are the best podcaster, but you aren't able to receive that because the way in which you're looking at the world. And I think that's where I've also struggled too. Yeah. Is like being able to see, like, if I don't believe it in myself, then I'm not going to hear it. Or if I believe it in myself, I'm going to downplay what you say because in my mind, it's already like, yeah, but there's still so much more to prove.
Right. I don't think that's, do you think that's unhealthy though? I don't feel like that's really unhealthy. It's kind of one of those to be determined kind of things. It's like, all right, maybe, but give it time and maybe it'll come. Because if you say that and I just walk as if I am that, then maybe my head gets a little too big. Maybe I don't put in the work and I don't stay as humble as I should be. So I don't know. I don't know if that's unhealthy or not.
Do you feel like you're that type of guy?
To do what?
To let things like get to your head?
Like overthink?
No, more so in the sense of like, if I do tell you like, yo, you're the best podcaster in the world, right? Like, do you feel like being the best podcaster in the world, you would change anything about your work ethic, or you would change how you move, or you would change any of that?
Do I think I would change? I feel like I might actually have a hard time hearing that because I ironically have kind of done well from negative reinforcement where you're like, you're not really that good. I'm like, oh, okay. Now I have something to prove. I feel like when I have something to prove, that's when I rise to the occasion. When I'm the best, there's no occasion to rise to because it's like, well, I've already accomplished the thing. So what else am I supposed to do? So I think that's what makes it maybe a little hard for me. If someone tells me I'm the best, I would probably ask why, what makes you think I'm the best? And then I'd even still on that ask, how can I improve further? Because I feel like I'm okay at what I'm doing now, right? I do feel like I've made improvements since the beginning as well. Yeah. But if someone wants to tell me I'm the best, I've seen how things could be better. So that's where I'd be like, be more genuine. I would almost feel like what you said, I appreciate it, but that might not have been as genuine as it could have been.
But I think that's the point that I'm trying to make though. It's like, even if somebody tells you that you're the best, you're still going to find ways to improve. So why can't you receive it while also recognizing like, yeah, I am the best and I'm also still working. Like, why can't both things be true? And I think that's where we both struggle with. Okay. Is when people are telling us like, yo, you are really good at what you do. Like, we're always constantly trying to prove something that it gets to a point where it's like we can't even receive what people are saying to us because it's like, nah, I ain't prove it yet.
Do you feel like we're always so we're always trying to improve because we're always comparing?
I think that plays a part of it for sure.
Okay.
Whether it's like comparing to other people, whether it's not being where we want to be, whether it's trying to reach this image in our head. I think like we're constantly working towards something. Yeah. But in that pursuit of something, it's not allowing us to fully be where we are.
I think when you were talking with Kizzle, you said we automatically compare. We don't control that. I don't think I've ever heard that before. I was like, wait, what? We don't control that? Because I would think that you control what you see. Not always, right? Like ads and whatever random stuff might come up wherever you are on the internet or even in the world. But I didn't think that, I've never thought about how we don't really control how we compare. But if we are comparing so much, that's probably why we're feeling like, okay, I need to improve because this thing over there and me right here are different. And I want to get to that thing over there. So I'm looking at that, trying to be that. Yeah. So would you say that that's, what would you just say about what I'm thinking right now? Like, what does that make you think? I think
that like when it comes to like just the human experience, a lot of the ways in which we know where we're at is based on what we see. whether it's where we see like from a just like landscape, but also from like a person to person. And sometimes we compare upwards and we compare downwards. Like sometimes I can look at somebody and say like, ooh, man, I don't want that. Like, I don't want that. Right. And sometimes I can look up and be like, oh, wow, you know what? They do have this. And it's like, ooh, I want that. You know what I mean? I think we use comparison as a way to like really just see where we fit in the world. So I think it's a natural thing. And I think when people are like, yo, don't compare, I'm always like, there's so much more to that conversation because it's just a natural thing that we do. I think it's the conclusions that we make from the comparison that ends up being what's either problematic or not. So getting back to the point of like, I don't think it's wrong to compare, but I think it's what do we tell ourselves? What do we tell about ourselves when we do compare? Or what do we say about ourselves? So if I'm looking at you and I'm like, dang, yo, he got this fire setup, like he got the mic and he got all this, like, dang, I'm never gonna get to where he's at, right? And then it's like, but I also don't know the full story. I don't know how long it took you to get here. I don't even know how you are processing it, but that's not what I know. I'm just going based off the surface value of my own evaluation. A lot of that's rooted in my own perception of self. So I think like comparison and self-esteem really go hand in hand because so much of how we compare is rooted in how we feel about ourselves.
So are you saying when someone compares more, they have a lower self-esteem? It
can be for sure. I think, again, it goes back to like the conclusion that you make of it, right? Like I can look at somebody and be like, I don't really want that. Or how maybe like the way they dress, like that's not for me, right? But I can look at that from a positive standpoint. I could look at it from a negative standpoint. I could look at that and be like, that's not for me because like I'm cool the way I'm dressed and I like it. Or I can look at it and be like, that's not for me because I'll never measure up. I'll never be able to wear something like that. Like that is just, they got their own thing and it makes me feel lesser. So I think, again, it can go either way, whether you're looking up or looking down.
Because this conversation is making me think about comparison, self-esteem, and then validation. Because I used to seek out validation, I feel like a lot more when I was younger. And maybe this is as you get older kind of thing, you start to accept more parts of yourself and you don't really need anyone else to validate it. Because I don't really I like what I do, but I'm also okay with it being imperfect, which I feel like I want us to talk about as well. But I don't really look for a whole lot of validation. And that's why sometimes I'm like, I need to believe it first. If I believe it, I won't really need anything outside of you because it's outside of me because it's me. It's like, it starts with me. If I'm confident that I can do this, whether you tell me or not, I believe it. So I'm going to be the one to go for it because you're not going to try or you're not going to do it for me. You're not going to do the work for me. Yeah. I have to do the work myself. So I'm thinking that over time, like as my self-esteem gets maybe higher, I don't compare as much, even though I do compare still. And because of that, I don't feel as much that I need to be validated.
Yeah. And I think that's a really, really great point that you make. I think where that can often go left is that when you are feeling low, you feeling like you have to prove yourself before anybody else can show you. So it's like this idea of almost like you deserve love at every stage, every level that you're at, no matter what. Oh, man. Okay. And I think that's what people struggle with is like, well, I'm at my lowest, so I can't receive anything until I pick myself up. And it's like, no, you still deserve love there. And you're still worthy of being able to receive the love even in your lowest. You have to accept it, though. But a lot of times we don't accept it because we treat low self-esteem or low self-image or low self-worth as being like, I'm not good enough to take this.
Okay, so when I'm trying to think about, because what you said makes me think about how I feel like a lot of men, and I'm not trying to make this a women versus men kind of thing at all, but I do feel like a lot of men maybe feel that way because it's like, as far as being deserving of certain things, because we feel like we have to earn everything. Yeah. And it seems like that's what we're taught. Do you think that's an unhealthy state of thinking? I
think, again, it's really how you receive it. Because I think that, like, for one thing, masculinity and the way in which we are taught masculinity often comes from a standpoint of being a protector and a provider. Yeah. And I think the extent of what we mean by protecting and providing is often misguided because we see it from a physical standpoint and we see it from a financial standpoint. We don't ever consider what does it mean to be an emotional protector provider. We don't talk about mental or spiritual or all these other elements in which you can provide that doesn't look like I have $1 million and I'm paying for everything, or ways in which aren't like I can beat up every single person who walks through this door, right? Like there are so many steps that you can take there's a lot of nuance, essentially, what I'm saying. And I think the way in which men are taught is in a vacuum. It's like you're either the strongest, you're either the fastest, the hardest, the biggest, the whatever that is. And I think that's where it gets unhealthy, because then we chase this image, and masculinity isn't just that. It's not that small bubble that everybody's trying to fit into.
Okay, so I very much agree with you there, because I feel that a lot of times it seems like I just need to be able to beat everyone up, and I need to be able to pay for everything, just protect. I need to be able to protect you and buy whatever for whoever I care about, right? But as I've gotten older, I've learned more that I need to be aware of how I feel, because once I can do that, it helps my community, because I can tell them, look, this is how I'm feeling, and this is how it's holding me back. I know this, but I'm telling you so now that you know, and then you can maybe help me, kind of work with this, because that's something that I feel like I grew up with. I feel like since I was young, I've actually been very emotionally aware, because for one of my parents, I'm an only child. For my other parent, I'm one of 7 now, right? So with my mom, I've always had the relationship to where I can always talk to her. I've had that same relationship with my dad as well, but I've spent most of my life living with my mom. So I would talk to her about a lot of things, and plus she would always tell me like, look, dude, it's just you. So if something's going wrong, I know who it is. But I've also just been able to talk to her because she is, between my parents, obviously more feminine. So I think that's made it easier for me. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think that your mom created a lot of safety for you that allowed you to feel like you were able to talk to her. I think that in terms of safety, men can also create safety. Yes. I think that a lot of times, especially when we come from a father standpoint, our fathers are usually the ones who drill security into us, and protection and strength, and these ideas of masculinity that we end up becoming very performative in how we show it. But there's also men who create safety and allow you to talk. Like, you're somebody in my life who, if I'm feeling sad, or if I'm like, dang, bro, like I'm going through it, like I can talk to you, and there's no fear and judgment. There's no like I feel less of a man. I know men who I can't talk to about anything feeling wise, or how bad this day was, or how much do I like this girl, because the way in which their masculinity is performing in front is like, I'm tough. Like that's that toxic masculinity. So I think that to answer the question that you asked is like, based on your upbringing of what I know, right? It's like your mom created that space for so you felt comfortable. I think that if your father created that same equal space, or any man in your life created the same equal space, you would have no problem talking to them about certain stuff like that. I think it's harder for us, like me to include it, because it's like my mom is the one who I've always seen be the emotional one. Yeah. So like I equated that to being, oh, that's a feminine trait. But then I also have met men who are also very, very, very strong. Yeah. But they're also like very, very emotionally aware. So they have those qualities. So that's why I'm always like, when debates of like masculine energy and feminine energy, that's why I'm always, they kind of lose me a little bit, because I think it depends on like the person, you know what I mean? Like I think somebody can create space for both. It's just a matter of like, where are they at? Where is their emotional depth? Where is their emotional intelligence? And where is their like all the other qualities, their strength, and how they show up, and are they consistent, and all those things? Yeah. Because both of my parents, like they both have allowed that space for me, because I think that wall was basically broken down when basically something I thought I was gonna have to take to the grave, right? I told both of them. They were both like, because of what it was, they were like disappointed, but I think it was mainly because I was holding it on my own. They were like, why didn't you tell us this? Yo, and you know what's so crazy about that, bro? I feel like, again, getting back to what I was saying earlier, it's us who blocks it. It's us who blocks it. Like there's people who in my life, like I thought like, oh, I'm never gonna be able to talk to about certain things. And then one day I get to a space where I'm like, bro, I don't care. I'm gonna just tell. And then they're always like that same reaction, like why didn't you just come sooner? Like, why didn't you talk to me? Like, I'm here for you, dog. Like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times, like, we as people block our own blessings and don't always receive the love that we actually have cultivated in our life because of the internal perception of how we're supposed to show up, or the comparison that we make of other people, or where we think we're supposed to be, that we hold it all in. And it's like, yo, this is just me. I have to figure it out myself. Where it's like, nah, bro, you have a community, you have a village, and you have people who love you.
See, what's weird with that is that maybe I experienced a little bit of like cognitive dissonance because these kind of concepts feel familiar yet foreign at times. Because a lot of times I feel like I know I can talk to people. I don't have a problem doing that. I have several men, or a few men in my life, that I don't really feel any lesser of a man when I have to tell them something that I'm going through or anything like that. But at the same time, I am still a man. So there are times where it's like, I know I can talk to you, and now I hear how I block it.
I was about to say.
I'm hearing how I block it. But at the same time,
I'm a man.
It's like, I'm just a man. You know what I'm saying?
Just a man,
I'm only a man.
Yeah.
So,
but I think
go ahead.
Yo, to like what you're saying, I don't mean to cut you off,
Yeah.
but like I feel like this is a very important note for people just to hear. It's like we tell ourselves, I'm a man. I'm a man. And then we don't really like take the time to define what does it mean to be a man for real.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you say, I'm a man, but what does that really mean for you? Like, does it mean you have to be the strongest person? You have to figure everything out. Do you have to be perfect in how you handle situations? Can you not ask for help, right? And then the more you start to unpack that, the more you start to realize how much you're limiting yourself. Like, I have to figure everything out by myself. I can't ever ask for help, ever. Like, who doesn't ask for help?
Yeah.
Who has to figure everything out by themselves? And even if you think it's like, oh, it's all on me, a lot of times it's like, even to figure out that situation, typically you have to go somewhere else. You have to talk and interact with other people. So it's not necessarily all on you. You just convince yourself that everything is on you. And that's how a lot of times that's how we perform our masculinity. And that's why it's toxic. Because it's like, dang, like if you need help, you need help. It is what it is.
And see, I feel like I don't typically have a problem with that. I don't mind asking for help most of the time. Sometimes I might struggle with it a little bit, but it's just weird how I experience both of these things. Because it's like, all right, I know I can talk to certain people, but at other times I don't want to, because like I'm thinking about myself as a man, but I also think about myself as a human, as a son, because I've been able to talk to my parents about different things. And it's like, whether it's male or female between my parents, I can talk to them about these things, but I still feel like I can't always share, because like I want to make sure that I can handle these things on my own. And I feel like I'm getting lost in what I'm saying just a little bit, but I'm trying to always make sure that I know what I'm experiencing. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm not gonna lie, because like you saying so much, and just me being a man and trying to think about how I can take in information and share everything is, I don't know, man. It's just a lot.
I get what you're saying.
It's a lot.
I definitely get what you're saying. And I think the important piece of it is like, I'm not saying you always have to ask for help. I'm not saying you always have to like navigate this in a way where you're constantly sharing your feelings or anything like that. I just think that how you define being a man for all of us, like we just need to expand that definition, because there's so much more to being a man than what I initially learned and what some of my friends thought about, right? Like there's so many different pieces and moving parts of it that there's time where it's like, yeah, we have a responsibility and we have to be the person who puts ourselves out there first, right? We have times where it's like, if somebody breaks into our crib, right, and it's me and my girl, it's my responsibility. All right, I'm taking that responsibility to go out there and say, hey, stay here, let me go. I'm gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? Like there's a time and a place for everything, but I think the expansiveness of understanding what it means to be a man will help us. But even from a bigger picture of just like of self, like what do you need? And I think that's the one thing that we neglect a lot of times, whether it's being a man, whether it's being a woman, them, they, anything in between. Like, what do you actually need?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, like when you ask that question, a lot of people don't know what they need because they're so focused and fixated on the expectations that other people have, of the comparison of what they see out there, where they're not at, who they feel like they want to be versus who they are right now. And we just we neglect that part of ourselves. And I think that's the hard part of this human experience, and being able to connect with people is because a lot of us don't know what we need. Like I look back at my younger self and I think about there were times where you were so lonely where you needed somebody just to be there for you. But instead of communicating, instead of talking, instead of putting yourself in these places because you didn't understand what you needed, you just sat in that loneliness and you lived in it. And as much as there's dual responsibility, right? Like other people can reach out and say, hey, come over, hey, you want to be here and such. But when people did that, I didn't know that I needed to go over there. So rather than being yeah, I'm coming, I was like, nah, I'm cool. Y'all don't even want me here because I didn't know what I needed.
Okay. So from basically since you were a young child up into this point, what would you say are the things that you've needed, that you personally have needed?
I would say I needed somebody to tell me it's okay to show up how you are. I needed somebody to tell me not to put so much pressure on yourself that if you say something crazy or random, or if it doesn't fit, you still belong here, right? I needed somebody to say I hear you, I see you, you are good enough, you are loved. I needed all that. And it's not to say that I never received it, but I didn't receive it consistently. And I think that's where I struggled with, because it almost felt that dissonance of my parents love me. My parents always were very emotionally effective. I love you. I care about you. You look good. You're confident. I used to get all those affirmations from my parents. But then when I went outside the world and I went into the environment and I didn't receive it, then I'm confused because I come back home and it's well, I'm getting this messaging from my parents, but outside I'm not getting the same messaging. So are my parents lying to me, or are they just being nice? Oh no, that's just how parents are supposed to be. But when I'm out here in this environment, I'm not receiving that same messaging. So maybe, okay, let me put on a mask and let me try to be everything that they need from me. Let me fit in. Oh, you all listen to this type of music? All right, cool. Let me start listening to this type of music just so I can fit in. Not for my own enjoyment. I just want to fit in. And I think that I just needed somebody to let me know, bro, who you are is enough. How you show up is okay. If you don't fit into this group, it's perfectly okay because you'll find your people. That's what I didn't get.
I think part of the reason why I was struggling to maybe find my words earlier is because, as I said, I know many people that have a very similar experience to that. Whereas I feel like I've very firmly known from at least my parents, be yourself. Be who you are. There might be times where I might be trying to be someone else. I've had to learn how to not do that over time. But, we want you to do your thing. We want you to be your person. And knowing that that's been my experience, but also being so close to so many people where that's not the same experience, it's in that way foreign, because it's I understand very well how I want to be, or just how I should be, kind of as far as being myself, right? But then I see how other people have had obstacles in their journey where it's your parents want you to do this because they want that. Or, you feel so strongly that you need to do this in society that you feel like you have to do that. Whereas I've kind of gone against those kinds of things for a long time. It's look, I consider myself a cool nerd from the get-go. I was I'm into anime, I'm into video games and all these kinds of things. I thought they were weird, and I was okay, it's weird to somebody, but this is who I am and I'm okay with that. But I know some people have really struggled with that. They've tried to fit in. Not that I've never tried to fit in, but I was also okay with, I kind of don't. I'm okay with that.
I think where I fell into that was, I felt there was pockets of people. So I had the athlete friends, I had the nerd friends, I had the video game friends. I had pockets of people, and where I felt my uniqueness was I'm all of these different things.
Right.
Rather than being in a space where everything is celebrated, it was I could only find spaces where element of me was celebrated. So like if I love sports, I can hang out with the sports people, but I can never talk anime with the sports people. I had to keep it sports. If I'm playing with the video games, like yeah, I'm athletic and I love basketball and ooh, who's in the game or who's winning. But it's like when I'm with them, I couldn't show that side of it. So I think like a lot of my experiences when I went out into my environment was like pieces of myself were accepted, but not in totality. And because my complete self wasn't accepted in a way where I felt like, oh, I could just show up and just be. That's where for me it was like I was always hopping and jumping into these different like groups.
And then on the flip side of that, I feel like because I knew that these different parts of me were celebrated in certain areas, it made me kind of celebrate me even more. It's like I'm an athlete, I'm a nerd, I like video games, I'm this, I'm that. I'm all of these things. And it's just when I'm with these people that's like that is highlighted at that time, but I'm actually all of these things.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like I feel like it's like a tug of war between all these things because I can relate to this one thing, but I am so many other things when I'm around all these people.
Yeah.
So I feel it all.
See, mine was the opposite. Like I would be around the athletes and they would look at the table and like, yo, look at all these geeks and nerds. Like, oh, they don't have such and such. Like, they're not cool. Or I would go with like the video game people and be like, sports? Like why sports? Why
I'm like, I like all of these things.
Yeah, I like all of them. And it's always, I think that's the part of like feeling misunderstood and feeling like, dang, I don't have really know where I belong because I was going to all these different groups and it's like, dang, so y'all don't like this at all? Like not even a little bit? And then when it was always these like really cool, my parents used to send me on these like leadership programs and I promised to change my life because when I would go to these programs out of state and you're brought with kids from all different parts of the city, different cities around the world, it's like, I just show up as me. And they're like, yo, like, bro, like, yo, you're cool. What? You like this and you like that? And it's like the first time in my life, like, oh, I'm feeling accepted. And I think that was one of those moments for me where it's like, okay, so there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I know the opposite side of being accepted. But now I just have to navigate this world of like where I'm at until I can get to that point. But in the meantime, because I know what it feels like to like, dang, I really don't feel accepted. That's where it opened up the door for me to be like, no matter who I come across, like I'm going to try my best to create space where like, if you want to go outside and you want to wear a cape, I'm gonna let you rock. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna let you rock. You know what I mean? Like if that's what makes you feel like the best version of yourself, like cool. So I look back at my past and I know a lot of times like I talk about it and people are like feel bad, but I think I'm at a place where I honor those experiences because it made me who I am today to be able to do the stuff that I'm doing now.
Wow. This is, as I was saying earlier, we have some very similar experiences, but we also have very different experiences because I'm over here thinking about how I've gone to several different schools, like maybe at least 5 to 7 schools in my whole life. And I feel like I was accepted really everywhere I went. I was able to make friends everywhere. I was never a super anxious person. My dad would be like, hey, we're going to move. This is the school we're going to. Cool. Okay. My mom, hey, we're going to move. This is the school you're going to. Okay. Like I'm making more friends and I think for me, part of why I resonate with what you say so much is because you try to make, home away from home, and it kind of helps like you figure out what it is that you need to feel secure, safe, love, different things like that. I feel that in a lot of places that I go to. If I'm in Cincinnati and I walk outside, I go anywhere, I'm thinking I'm probably gonna see somebody I know and someone that I was cool with, a friend with, that accepted me. So it just makes me feel more at ease almost anywhere I go. And I think about, even though that's very common for me, it's not very common for a lot of people. And I think that's what I'm like, that's so interesting.
Yeah. It's funny because it's like when I talk to other people, like that's how they see me. Like they see me as the person who goes out and like I know every single person.
And that's how I can see you now too.
Yeah. My thing is like it takes me a while to get, like usually when I get into a space for the first time, I'm always like reserved. Or people, even some of my closest friends know, like to get me outside, it's a lot. Because so much of my internal battle is like, yeah, but if you go outside, you don't know who's gonna be out there. They might not really like, they might not like you. They might not accept you. Da, da, da. And then like when I finally like, I'm going outside and I go to something, even if it's something I don't even want to go, by the time I leave it, I'm always like, yo, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
Oh, sis, what's good? Like, I know the room. I know
Because I've seen this in
real time.
action. Like, I met you outside, and then, because I met you, and it felt like in the span of maybe 3 hours, I was like, this dude is cool. I'm like, yo, this is my dog. I mean, we spread out across this party that we basically was at. I'm like, yo, this is my guy. Like, I'm cool with him. I can see parts of myself in him. So that's why I was like, it's so interesting to be able to see, I guess, how far you've come or how far I've heard you come. Because I know you one way, but hearing how this has been so different for you, and then how my life has been so different, it's just very interesting for me to think about and for me to look at, because I feel like we're so similar, but yet we're still very different in that way.
Yeah, I think the place that like I usually have always kind of like came from is just pain, right? Like just understanding and knowing my pain and knowing what I'm like struggling with and like leaning into that. So it's always encouraging to me to see like somebody like you or some of my other friends who are like, we don't operate from that. Like, we're cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it helps me see like, yo, I can let this go. I can honor it. Yeah. I could see it, but I don't have to hold on to it. And I think that's what, like, going into this new chapter, like, I'm really trying to get to a point of is like, I don't have to operate from pain. Because I think for my whole life, that's been where I've been operating from. I'll walk into a space, I analyze my pain, like, dang, like, I'm feel this way. And I don't walk into it like always the most confident person. Now, once I meet a couple people, then it's like, oh, I could throw away the pain. Because I think a lot of times people use pain as a way to protect themselves or a way, well, it's like a form of protection, but they're using it to hide themselves. And I think I've done that a lot. So now I'm getting into this chapter in my life where it's like, I'm not hiding. I'm no longer trying to hide. I'm no longer trying to protect myself because I naturally already protect myself. I already have discernment. So I don't have to add this extra force of discernment and try to hide my light because I'm good. If you like me, cool. If you don't like me, cool. You're not for me. And it is what it is. And I think that goes back to proving myself. Like, I don't have to prove myself. And I think a lot of what my pain taught me is like, you got to prove yourself.
I'm listening to you in real time, still thinking about some of the things that I've seen as far as your work and different speeches that you've done. And it's just making me think how when I see you and when I think of you, I think of joy. Like, you care about love. When I see you, we're almost always, I don't think we've ever not been in high spirits. When we see each other, like every time we see each other, it's at some sporting event where we talking garbage, or, it's at a community. It's at an event full of community and full of love, or it's just me and you, and it's like, man, I'm happy to see you. What's been going on? Because I feel like I see myself in you, right? But then it makes me think about how, like when you said that when you're used to chaos, it makes like it kind of takes away joy, peace, happiness, love, and it's making me wonder, I guess, if you've been used to chaos in a way.
I think as
far as your pain.
Yeah, I think I made peace with it. Not made peace with it, but I think I accepted it and I internalized it to a point where it was what was familiar to me. So I'm not going to say like it was my favorite thing. It was just familiar. Yeah. So then whenever I received something that was unfamiliar to that, it was easier for me to push it away. So like in terms of like relationships, right? Like there were people who I would like or I'd be interested in, and they would like me and we'd be interested in each other. But I wasn't familiar with somebody seeing me. I wasn't familiar with somebody being like, who you are is who I want to get to know and I want to like build with you. So I pushed it away because like, oh, what do you mean you see me? Like, what do you mean you like me? What are you talking about?
Yeah. Wow.
Hey, keep your distance.
Stay away,
right? But I always knew how to operate from arm's length. So it's like when people often see me, it's like you see the opposite side of like, I'm joyful. I'm happy. It's great to see you. And I'm happy. I feel the love, but I feel like it's love that I'm able to like control to an extent, right? Versus the unpredictability of fully accepting it and having those hard conversations or having somebody there when I'm at my lowest. So the things I was telling you is like, I'm guilty of it. When we're talking about like receiving compliments, I'm guilty of saying like, bro, I'm at my lowest right now. What do you mean? Yeah. What do you mean you care? What do you mean I'm great at this? What do you mean I'm smart? Bro, I have a PhD, right? I have a PhD, and this is like real. Like somebody told me, you are really intelligent the way that you bring your points together. And my first initial reaction to that was like, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? Like, have you seen the people in my classes? Do you know some of the other PhD? Like, my initial reaction was to downplay it because I didn't feel like I was worthy to receive that. And I think that's the point that I think for a lot of people that I hope people are hearing. It's like, you're always worthy of it. At your lowest, at your highest, when you're like, in between the good days, the bad days, like you're worthy of receiving it, but you got to allow yourself to receive it.
I need therapy, boy. Like listening to you, I'm like, cause it sounds so sad, but like always being worthy of it. I know that, right? But it's always weird when you know something, but it's hard for you to feel it or hard for you to resonate it with it. Why what?
Why is it hard to resonate with it?
Cause it's
how have you learned your worth is valued? In what ways?
A lot of the times it seems, I feel like I'm analyzing myself as I'm talking. Because I don't want to say performative masculinity or anything like that, but a lot of times when I'm doing something for people, they tend to appreciate that. Like that's when people like really appreciate me sometimes, but I know that there are people that love me just for being around. They just love me for that. And it's like, I think in those moments, that's when I know like this person sees me, this person cares. Yeah. But I also know that, or also I guess have subconsciously in the back of my mind, there are things that I need to be doing for myself or for other people to make sure that I can see that they see I'm worth it.
So right there, right? And this is where a lot of us are guilty of, myself included. So I'm not saying this is like, oh yeah, I'm perfect. Yeah. Like, nah, like me too, right? You said you need to be doing something, right? The act of producing, the act of working towards, right? It's like we see value. A lot of times our value is celebrated when we do and we accomplish. So think about from a most basic level, right? You get an A. Oh, congratulations, you get an A. Here. Right. This is what you get, right? But a lot of
conditioning.
It's conditioning. Yeah, we're conditioned to think that like our productivity leads to our worth and value. So when we're not doing, when we're not producing, when we're not coming up with results, we're a lot more critical of ourselves because we're not doing. Because usually we're celebrated for doing. When at the end of the day, it comes down to just being. You being is enough. But when you add in all these other factors, right? When you add in society and what it tells you, and you add in capitalism, and you add in masculinity and femininity and all these other elements of like the human experience that has shaped how we even look at what it means to be human.
It almost sounds like it's like a barrier.
And that's what it is. And if you're not aware of the barriers, they feel limiting, and we don't recognize how much they limit us because of it. Like, all of those things limit us from accepting love. All of those things shape the way in which we view love. Somebody can love you for who you are, how you are, and not even to like put so much of your business. Like when you were at your lowest moment, when you felt like, dang, I ain't really like, man, I have to get in this grind mode. I have to do this by myself. I have to dig myself out this hole. It's easy. Those are when those barriers are harder. Like, you're not going to be able, I can't reach out. I can't do this. I can't talk. But like those lower moments is when we need to open ourselves up to love, to have people help us see that even in that lowest moments, bro, you're loved. You're cared about. I'm here for you. I'll show up for you. And it's hard for us because of all those different barriers, because we always feel like we have to be producing.
Okay. You over here reading me, man. I'm not. It's weird because I was thinking I was going to come into this coming from like somewhat like a bird's eye view. Like I'm above it, looking down on it, and I could bring something new to you. But here I am. I'm like, no, I'm right in the middle of this. Like I'm in the middle of this, right with you. But because you're able to explain this so well, I'm guessing that I'm very confident that you're also familiar with it, right? Yeah. So what do you do to kind of help yourself shake these feelings and these thoughts that come into your mind?
I think for one, talking about it to other people. I have like a mentor/therapist who like I talk to these conversations a lot, who helped me see that I'm in the same way that you're talking about, right? Like I come into it like, oh man, like I know I'm good and this is all, there's nothing wrong and yada, yada, yada. And I see it from this one perspective, right? And she helps me see like, bro, you have blind spots. You're not even seeing how a lot of these things are impacting you because they're not in your peripheral. So it's like, yeah, you have perspective, but when you look this way and you actually see it affects you a different way. For one, I have people who really hold me accountable to the story that I tell myself. One of my homegirls, shout out to Faith, if you watch this, we were recently having a conversation. I was basically telling her like, bro, I'm struggling with being proud of myself for getting this PhD. I'm struggling with feeling like I've accomplished anything because it's like, yeah, on one side, everybody sees I climbed the top of the pyramid or the top of the mountain, right? But in my mind, it's like, I'm still at the bottom of the mountain that I really want to be at. And she's like, why are you looking at or telling yourself this story of like, you're not doing anything though? Like you have a beautiful story and a beautiful journey. If you come a long way to be able to prepare yourself for all the things that you want to do, and you're proving to yourself and so many people who you are, what you're capable of doing. And you do this naturally when you walk into a room. And I'm sitting here like, you came up with that story?
Okay.
Like that's an option. Like I could think about like my life in that way because I'm so used to like the story that I tell myself. So I think for me, it's like I lean into my community, I lean into my village, and then I have to take that intentional time for myself to be able to sit with some of these like dark thoughts or these like uncomfortable thoughts and being able to like really address it and really express it. And I do that through writing. Writing, it was always my first love. So I'm able to like sit and back and process how I'm feeling when I write it out. And I think when I'm able to write it and look it and read and see like, damn, yo, I'm tripping. Like what? Like, yo, I'm tripping. Like I have to like, those are the things that help me call myself out. Bro, I'm gonna tell you a crazy story, right? Mm-hmm. Again, like speaking about like the struggle of it is when I'm able to do that, like write it out or talk it out, I'm able to now recognize patterns where because I'm starting to see it that I wasn't able to catch before. My homegirl, I was talking to my homegirl and basically like, yeah, like, yo, your friends, put me on, like, you got any single friends? You know what I mean? Like, what's up? What's up, yeah. Right? She pulls up her phone. She shows me a picture of one of her friends. I looked at the picture, bro, and I had no emotional reaction to anyone. I was like just looking. I didn't feel anything. And I was recognizing, and she was like, so what do you think? And I didn't really know how to answer it because I felt how uncomfortable I was just being able to put myself in a position to be like, oh, you got to build, right? Like if you say, yes, she's attractive, then there's something that comes with it, right? There's something that comes with, there's a level of accountability of you having to reach out and you having to talk and you having to build and get to know
shoot,
everything
don't start this.
Bro, but I looked at the picture and I got so uncomfortable that I just froze. And I didn't respond. I changed the topic, right? Like, yeah, she's cool, like, da-da-da. But I think it's like, because I was able to call myself out earlier, I'm able to recognize now, like, dang, you are really uncomfortable in that space. Why are you uncomfortable? Which helps me now empower my decision-making and how I start to deal with those experiences because I didn't have anything to work with prior. Now I know. So now how do I respond differently in these spaces?
So when you said build, you meant like build as a person, like build internally? Is that what you were saying? Or like build as a man, like I need to have this and do this and...
I think for me, it's more so like build internally with myself.
Yeah.
Of like asking myself the hard conversations. What is making you uncomfortable? Why is it that when there's a potential partner or why a potential opportunity, what is making you feel so uncomfortable about really trying to get to know somebody or really trying to apply to this job or, you know what I mean? Like all the different reasons where you talk yourself out of it. Why are you talking yourself out of it? Because it's one thing to say like, I'm working, I'm grinding, I'm doing all these different things. But you also know that you have time and you also know how your schedule operates and you make space for a lot of different things. So it's like, what excuses, why do you allow this excuse to rise here versus anywhere else? What is the difference? And I think those are like the necessary hard questions that a lot of times we avoid. And we charge it to, man, I'm grinding, I'm working, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And we don't take the time to really sit with ourselves and figure out like, bro, why do you feel this way?
Man, you are triggering. Okay. So, all right. So the reason why that triggered me is because it almost made me think about kind of what I tend to tell people sometimes. Like you said, like you were seeing people and you didn't feel anything. I don't necessarily feel, I can't like resonate with that part. But what it brought me to was when you said, dang, why can't I move forward on this because of all this and all that comes with it, right?
Yeah.
So that always makes me think about how it might be someone that I'm attracted to, because I do want us to talk about dating and relationships a little bit, right? And it just makes me think about how if I speak to this girl, because I'm attracted to women, if I speak to her, she's attracted, get her number, there's a lot that comes after that. And I'm like, if I don't say anything from the beginning, I don't even have to deal with it.
Yo.
And I'm like, yo, that took me through it.
Yo, you're pulling.
In my mind, I'm like, if I don't say anything, I won't have to go through all that. But as soon as I try, there's so much that comes with it. And that's what tends to get me.
So real quick, I just want to clarify. When I said I didn't feel anything, it's not that I didn't feel anything. I just disassociated my emotion. So I didn't allow myself to feel how I felt, for one. For two, what you said, 1000%.
Yeah.
I feel as if I do the same thing. It's like there is a level of responsibility that comes with meeting somebody, talking to somebody, especially when it comes from like a dating standpoint. Like I always use this excuse, and it's an excuse from me. I don't want to introduce a vibe that I can't maintain. So I'd rather not introduce it at all. So then that way, when I introduce it, or if I introduce something, you don't get attached or you don't like it or you don't whatever. But it's a form of me running away. I'm avoiding it.
Okay. So you say that's a form of running away, but I'm thinking, isn't that like healthy recognition of a potential problem? It's like, okay, I know that this could become a problem later if I'm not ready, but it's like, I know that this might be an issue. So I can recognize that now, save my time and not do that. I think that that's healthy, but I can also see how that makes you feel like I'm not worthy of that or deserving of it. It's like, maybe I am, but this is not that time, or this is not correct right now.
I feel like this is one of those like key podcast moments where like people will like have a question like that and they're going to generalize, right? And I'm going to give you the honest truth. I can't answer that. Okay. That is an answer that you have to do some deep dive, soul searching, and to answer for yourself. Okay. Because there are moments where I can honestly say, like, I had a lot on my plate.
Right.
Like a lot on my plate. And as much as I was interested in, as much as I wanted this person, I had so much on my plate that I didn't even have enough time to give myself. So it was like, I can't commit. I don't want to commit. But I would also be lying to you if I told you there were times where I didn't have as much on my plate, or I was able to manage everything on my plate and make space for connections, and I pushed it away. And not only did I push it away, I charged it to a friendship, and I built a friendship with somebody. So I threw like somebody in the friend zone, or I was like, and I was pouring into somebody else. So I was getting what I needed from that connection elsewhere because I didn't want to pour into that connection fully. And I think that's where, like, as an individual, you got to ask yourself, like, is that real? Mm-hmm. Or are you just avoiding it? Because I think there's a lot of times where we say, like, I don't have time for it, but it's an excuse. Like, you have time to build, and you know you have time to build, and you know that's what you want, but you're trying to protect yourself, or you're trying to hide from really connecting with somebody. And I'll be the first to admit, I've done that for years. Mm-hmm. And the times I would convince myself that, oh yeah, I'm ready to build, was where it was low risk, high reward. Oh, you're states away. Oh yeah, I'm willing to build with you because it's easier to build with you because you're from a distance. So if it doesn't work, I can charge the inconsistency of the distance to the game. But the closer you are to me and the more accountability of me having to show up, that's scary.
Ooh. Hey, man. So as I watched the episode with you and Kizzle, like, it was so many times where he stopped and he was like, bro, you cooking. But I'm having the same thing. I'm like, bro, this is my plight. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is because, of course, the closer they are, the more accountability there is. The farther they are, it's like, oh yeah, that's why it didn't work out. Easy. You know what I mean? And you're telling your story, but I'm like, that's my story, and that's so crazy. That's so crazy, dude. Like what? But you're right though. I wasn't trying to ask you that to trap you or anything.
No, I know that. I'm just saying, like, this is the opportunity where a lot of people are gonna project.
Yes.
And I'm like, as much as you have been like genuine and honest and real, like I want to respect that and recognize that. Like a lot of people they lie about it. Like, nah, you ain't it. But it's like, bro, the truth is, when we really unpack, a lot of us struggle with that.
Because that's been a question that I've been trying to answer or defer to later for a minute. Like, I don't know what I should do with this right here.
Yeah, bro,
it's a lot.
I'll tell you, I'm guilty of it. I'm avoidant. People usually like, oh, what's your attachment style? Like I was a fearful avoidant, right? I'm somebody who, the closer I got to somebody, the more I wanted to run. You know what I mean? Wow. And I think I charged it to like, I'm working, I'm getting this PhD, I'm trying to build a brand, I'm trying to do all that. When at the end of the day, it was fear. Mm-hmm. I was scared. I was scared to be seen. I was scared to like really put in that effort. And then for somebody to see me and then not just see me at my high, but see me at my low. Because a lot of people see me when I'm at my high. And even if I might not feel it's a high, people see it as a high. Not a lot of people see the low part.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and when you're used to being in environments, for me specifically, where I was like, when I showed up to rooms, like I was saying, I was either I was too much or I was not enough. It's hard to like really
find that gray area. Like the in between.
Yeah, and I think that's where love is. Love is the in between. Love is your highest, your lowest, the good, the bad. Like I love you through it all.
Okay. Because I kind of want to get into, again, you study Black love, and I want to get into some of this. So I want to ask you, what are some of, because I feel like we're talking about our plights a little bit. So these are somewhat like the struggles. Yeah. But what are some of the most encouraging things that you had learned in your studies about, you know, relationships and about Black love?
I think that if we're talking specifically about Black love, the stronger you feel towards your Black identity, the more likely you're going to go out there and find a Black partner. Yeah. When I say that now, there's a lot of nuance that comes with it too. Right. Like you can be very, very, very strong in your Black identity and date outside of your race. And there's a lot of different statistics about like that. But I'm saying for the most part, people who generally feel stronger about their identity, they usually can date within their race more often, right?
Did you also find that across the board? It sounds like. I
mean, like statistically speaking, Black men date outside their race 3 times more than Black women. You know, there's a lot of reasons for that. Right. I think also a lot of statistics really showed how there is a shortage of marriageable partners for Black women. So
I've heard this.
Yeah, so that makes it a little bit more difficult for Black women, which can also answer to why Black women typically will date outside of their ethnic group. Yeah. But I think generally speaking, like when we talk about Black love specifically, the beauty of Black love comes down to the cultural and historical understanding of being with somebody who's able to see you in a way that runs deeper than just surface level into like the whole understanding of the context of the experience of being Black. Right. I think through that, there's a lot of healing that happens within Black relationships because you're loving somebody who understands your experience. There's a higher levels of potential joy and celebration and connection because of that understanding. So I think
shared heritage
and everything in between. So I think the beauty of Black love to me is that you're able to be in a relationship with somebody who can fully see you. For me, to marry a Black woman is also marrying a part of myself because of that level of beauty.
That makes so much sense. I get that. Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I think that's the beauty.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because I know that, you know, Black women have always been a safe space for you. They've always been a safe space for you. So I wonder if that strongly informs why you feel this way, or if it's just something that's just completely different in itself.
I think it's a dual process. To be honest with you, like studying Black love is for sure like a byproduct of the Black women that are in my life. When I think about like the impact of Black women on my life, it's like I can't even put it into numbers. You know what I mean? Like Black women have always supported, encouraged, held me accountable, called me out, taught me, nurtured me, showed me strength, showed me softness, showed me vulnerability in ways in which we're very consistent across the board. Where I think when it came to certain men, it wasn't always as consistent. So it's not to say I didn't have Black men who like showed up for me, like for sure. Like I could name a lot of great men in my life. It's just the amount of Black women who showed up was just like way more and way more consistent.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And the last part to answer that question too is when I recognized how much Black women showed up for me, and then I would also listen and hear about their experiences and how they felt like certain men or men generally have like let them down. And then I'm starting to navigate the world and I'm starting to see like, oh man, there's a lot of like interracial relationships. There's a lot of like bashing here and there, and this person doesn't do this and this person didn't do that. That's when for me it was like, oh, I'm just curious to like figure out like what is this thing that we call Black love? Like what is the understanding? How do people navigate it? How do we see it versus media stereotypes and our own identity? That's kind of where it all kind of came together for me.
Okay. Cause I have probably one of my more interesting and possibly controversial questions for you, because you speak very highly of Black women, and there are some men out there, and of course there are some, unfortunately, Black men out there that may not feel the same. So I've wondered if you've ever really seen any pushback in any DMs, any comments, anything like that, and has like anyone ever said that you are a simp? Has anyone ever hit you with that and he said anything like that to you before?
I haven't personally gotten that.
Okay.
I've definitely gotten people reaching out to me saying like, hey, I hope you're prepared because like one day that side of the internet or that side of people are going to find you. And then I have one of my homeboys. Me and him have a lot of these like conversations about Black women and Black men. And we always agree, but we agree for different reasons.
Yeah.
But he was one of the people who's like, sometimes it's hard for me to receive what you're saying because it seems like you're always uplifting Black women and you don't speak highly about Black men. And I think what's interesting about that, of what I communicated with him, is I, as a Black man, can only hold Black men accountable. I can't hold Black women accountable. But with an understanding of their experience and the things that they go through, and based on how I understand it as a man and what I can do as a man to help their experience and speak to Black men, that's typically the angle that I go when I'm speaking on Black women. So it's really from a more accountability standpoint, a one-to-one, a Black man to Black man. As a Black man, this is my experience with Black women. This is what we can do better. This is how we can work. I'm gonna relay it to you. I think a lot of times that form of communication, if you're not specifically saying Black men do this and Black men do that and Black men do this, it's easy for somebody to run away with the narrative of like, you only care about Black women. I care about Black men and Black women. I care about the Black community. I care about all of us. I want better for all of us. But I think it's easy for people who, again, you haven't heard someone uplift you, especially when you feel as if you haven't been uplifted lately, especially if you have negative experiences, especially if you have moments where you feel as if you weren't supported, to run with something and be like, yeah, he's simping, or he doing that, or he feeling that way.
Because when I'm hearing that, like, I feel like when someone says that, it's trauma speaking. That's a lot of the time what I think it is.
1,000%. Where's my camera? 1,000%. 1,000%.
I think that is trauma speaking, and also, I don't want to say insecure.
It's insecure.
I don't want to like I don't want to say that, but it's almost like if
I'll say it
like if it doesn't apply, how am I trying to say it? It seems like if someone is talking highly about this person, then they are talking down about you. In a way, it's like it's a trauma response. It's insecurity.
It shows a very, very low level of like self-esteem. It's something that it's a pain point for you, right? And I think that's what I really want to focus on.
Yes.
Right? For people who, if you feel as if I'm uplifting this group, and by uplifting them, that hurts you, it's probably because there's something in which I've said that you've either not doing or that you've never experienced, right? But it's hard for me. But it's hard for me to sit back and be like, you've never experienced it, because I've seen how Black women show up for the ones who they know and the ones that they don't know. And even in the ways in which Black women show up for Black men in the ways that we don't even recognize, but they do. So think about all the times they're in the front lines advocating for us, especially when we're getting killed by police officers, right? There's ways in which Black women show up for Black men that we don't even recognize because we don't take the time to pay attention. So for a lot of times for me, it's probably because you had one bad experience, or maybe here and there, and somebody like really said something about you. You internalized it, and now you feel as if, oh no, they're all like that. Or you had a very overbearing mother, or you had somebody who a relationship within your life where you're trying to run away from, or it really comes down to like that pain point. You feel the type of way and you feel insecure. So in order to feel better about yourself, you're performing masculinity. You're coming off stronger. You're coming off, more, they don't do this. And man, these girls ain't that. Or like, he talking like that, bro. He a simp. Like he just trying to get, what are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about? What do you mean?
It's, because I won't act like I've never experienced a pain point either from hearing you speak, because like maybe it's something that I did experience or something that I'm not doing, or just hearing from anyone else speak. Because I know that like I'm not here to really call people a simp or nothing like that, but sometimes when people speak how do I put it? Sometimes when people speak, I'm like, how genuine is that? And that's what I'm thinking. Sometimes people might think if they hear you speak. And that's why I was wondering if you've heard any pushback on that.
I think what's so interesting about that point is the grander conversation that comes from that is, and it goes to show again to me why we as men have to do better.
Yeah.
Because so much of that question is about reflecting on how men use information and weaponize it against women. So if you have to sit back and question if somebody is saying something just to get women, goes to show the behavior of men generally, which is already problematic. Because that means there's not opportunities where men speak truth to power without wanting something from it that's conducive of a woman's experience. And that's a problem.
That PhD speaking, boy. Like, golly. I mean, I feel like when there are times that I cannot find the words to say certain things, I feel like you are saying those words.
I appreciate it.
And I'm, because sometimes I might stumble upon my words and whatnot, but I'm like, as I let you speak, I'm like, yeah, if I could have said it, that's how I would have said it. So yeah, it's just, that's been something that's very interesting to me.
Treating a woman right doesn't make you a simp.
Oh no, I don't know.
That's what makes you being a man. And I think that's the problem. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of ways in which we think it means to be a man is not how to be a man. Because what do you mean you don't show up for women? How do you say you love Black community and Blackness and Black people, but you don't love Black women?
Yeah. And it's so from hearing you speak like this, it always makes me wonder, because your parents are married, it always makes me wonder what your parents' dynamic is like. Now, from watching your interviews and seeing you speak, I've seen that they have a very healthy dynamic. And I think they were actually very intentional with you as far as showing you kind of how this can be. Yeah. And I think that informs how you speak, because when I'm watching, I'm like, you kind of have to speak about this from a healed perspective, because a lot of people cannot do that. They're like, they've been hurt and they're like, I'm still hurting. I'm bashing now. You know what I mean?
To an extent, I agree with that. I think that you also can have negative experience and still speak to healthier stuff based on what you haven't seen too, right? But I'll say I'm fortunate from a standpoint that my parents this year are going to celebrate 42 years of marriage, right? So I've seen that healthy dynamic, but
it was like also there before you were even here.
It was there.
Exactly.
And my parents were very intentional. Like I just had a conversation with my dad yesterday. He was like, we waited 11 years after getting married to have you. Like the act of having you was an intentional act to make sure that like you're ready and you're prepared and we're ready for you and we could provide and et cetera, et cetera. But also in my upbringing though, I've also been in environments where I've seen like unhealthy relationships. I've also seen unhealthy relationships. Like one of the ones that I always think about is like one of my cousin's dynamics, right? I've seen it go from like this absolutely toxic place all the way to a healthy relationship, right? So I've seen both sides. And I think people think of healthy relationships often as this idea of perfection. Like it fits into this box. But the ways in which relationships are healthy are not by this general umbrella of perfection, but it's in the decision making and how you're feeling in the decision making of making this relationship work. Mm-hmm. Did you handle this from a place of, I'm not scared to talk to you. Like I know this is a hard conversation, but there's a level of ease knowing that I can bring this up to you and you're not going to react in a something way. Those are the elements that make things healthy. Am I honoring you? Do I recognize what you need and what you want? And am I showing up for you? Am I planning dates that speak to you? Am I being intentional in the ways that I'm loving you and I'm listening to you and hearing you? Like it's the act that makes something healthy, or it's what makes it toxic. I think a lot of people throw healthy and it's like, it's perfect. It's like, nah, my parents argued. My parents definitely had fights. You know what I mean? So when it comes to like just the dynamic of understanding that, I think I've benefited from seeing that, but also seeing like, oh, so this is what it's like if we have an argument and I'm cussing you out and you're cussing me out and we're not even getting to the root of the problem, because I'm sitting there in the room watching like, oh, wow, dang. Like, yeah, this doesn't feel like this is good.
And it's interesting because I think both of them, and correct me if I'm wrong, both of them inform why you seem to be so intentional.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Because you've also...
For better and for worse, too. Right? And it goes again to my own personal decision making. Because again, I've seen healthy. I've also seen very toxic. Right? But I think I didn't give myself nuance. So when I was first evaluating relationships or partners, in my mind, it was like, it's either toxic or it's either healthy. Like that's how I saw it. And that's, I think, where a lot of people struggle with is this or that. There's a gray area. And that gray area you have to create for yourself, and you have to collaborate with somebody else to navigate that gray area in order to get it on this side of the scale, or if you want to stay on that side of the scale. So like, there were times where I would like somebody, right? And we would have one argument and I'd be like, oh no, I'm done.
Yeah, you're cooked.
Yeah, you're cooked. This isn't healthy. You know what I mean? Like I don't like this.
And see, I've struggled with something like that before, because there have been times where like I might be in a relationship and it's healthy and it ended, right? Like I thought it was healthy. There wasn't many arguments and it ended because I know for some people, they are more used to a little more chaos. It's like, this, I don't like this. Like this feels too good. Like something is wrong. Something's up. It's like, no. Yeah. We're fine. You know what I mean? And it's just interesting when you hear that, because some people, they love that. They love the hustle. They love the back and forth. They love that, right? The struggle of it.
They don't love it.
They're familiar with it.
They're familiar with it. Yeah. And that's the difference. And that's what makes it so hard. It's like some people, we convince ourselves, we tell ourselves we love that, but that's not love. Right. We are not putting that into the box. That is not love. Correct. That is familiarity. And you are familiar with it. You are so used to that pattern that you feel like you know how to navigate it because you're so used to it. But it's not what you're used to. And the unfamiliar now becomes terrifying. Like you're not gonna cuss me out. You're not gonna raise your voice. Like we're not gonna. I'm not used to that. Or moments where it's like you're so used to the unpredictability of your partner, the hot and cold, that when you get it consistent, it's like, this is boring. What do you mean? Like, this is not erratic. There's no energy. I'm not high. Because a lot of the emotions in which like a toxic relation will get you is high energy. You're always on edge. You're always wondering. When you get that peace where it's like, dang, I don't have to worry. Like, you went out and there's no problem with that. For people who've never experienced that, that's terrifying. And I've had to learn how to create space for that in my own dating world, because I dealt with somebody who is like, you scared me. You
scared them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you scared me. Not because you did anything wrong, but because you were doing everything right, and I've never seen that before.
That's really...
In my head, though,
it's really
I'm
crazy.
sitting here, I'm overthinking. I'm like, dang, am I doing too much?
Yeah.
Dang, does she like me? Like, I'm over here worried because of my own internal processing of like navigating getting close to somebody. And like, oh man, I don't know. Am I doing too much? Da, 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 da. But for her, it was the opposite. And I think that's the complexity of a relationship, is that there's three parties in it.
Yep.
It's you.
It's them.
It's them. And it's the relationship.
Yep.
And that's what makes it really difficult.
You're very consistent. I've seen this in your writing too. I've seen this. Because like, I think that's one of the most interesting things that you can learn about relationships, is how peace can scare some people. But then that's also sad on the other hand, because it's like, peace scares you. That means you're not used to this. And what you are used to is where you're familiar, and that's where you would probably want to stay, which is always weird and even scary, because it's like, this is peaceful and likely healthy for you, but that's not where you want to be because it's not familiar.
Yeah.
And it's like, what isn't familiar could be good for you, but you have to, let it, and also you have to at least try.
Yeah.
You have to at least try. Wow. Okay. We have talked about a lot.
I do have a question for you. Something
Okay.
we haven't talked about.
Okay.
Or we might have. I'm just not sure.
Okay.
So earlier, you said there's a lot of places where I'm consistent, and there's a lot of places where I'm inconsistent.
Yes.
Where's the inconsistent part?
Okay. So the inconsistent part is how you speak very, very highly about, basically how you want to be a content creator and how you want to do these things, but you are procrastinating on it. That's where I would grill you. Because to be honest, I was going to say, there's not too much that, as far as in this conversation, I can really debate with you, because you have the points and you make it make sense, right? Mm-hmm. But as far as just trying to pursue your dreams, I know you are. And I know that you want to be a talk show host. And I think I've grilled you on this before, because to me, that's like tough love. And that's where this is one of the few places where I will grill somebody. Because it's like, if you want this thing and you tell me that you want that thing, what are you doing? And this is because I also saw, because we'll talk to you about this. He was like, bro, I need a podcast. Yeah. And I know you had one, have one.
Yeah.
To be determined. But like, when it comes to you want to do these kind of things, this is where I want to use some of your own words against you. Yeah. A little bit, right? Yeah. So you said in your TEDx that like you were actively procrastinating your homework and it made you a fan of anything. Like you said actively procrastinating from your homework will make you a fan of anything, right? Mm. And I'm like, well, you want to be a content creator. What's going on with it? Now I have been seeing you do more things with it, but I guess as far as like this is where maybe we don't see it as much. Yeah. And that's where I would say the people want to see it, because I've told you what's up with a podcast. Someone else has told you what's up with a podcast. Yeah. I'm very sure it's more than just these people, right? Yeah. So there's that. It's like I've seen you say I want this and I want to do these things, and that's one of the only areas I'm like, okay, show up. Like, what's up with it? Yeah, I received that, and I appreciate you for holding me accountable, right? Yeah. Because I think that's where, one, that's the beauty of brotherhood, right? Yeah. Being able to look at somebody in their face and be like, yo, you. Yeah, like, come on, bro. What's up? Bro, what's going on? And I can only answer this from the person who I'm becoming versus the person who I was, is that I was always, again, looking for validation of my dream. And I think because so many of the people closest to me were always like, how's that going to make money? They would hit me with that, like, what do you mean? What do you want to do? Like, they didn't see the vision, that it made me not want to chase what I want to do directly, but more vertically. Okay.
So like more so in the sense of like, I'm gonna go for this PhD because I know this is what the world sees as like prestigious, and it's a high form of like knowledge, and you're doing something that a lot of people aren't gonna do, or a lot of people that don't do, right? But on the side where I have this safety net, if it doesn't work, like creative, I can do a couple projects here and there. And if it doesn't work out, at least I could fall back on this. Like I've always tried to pursue what I wanted with some level of safety net to take off some of the pressure of other people looking at my life and saying,
there's nothing. Yeah. So I can also resonate with that because, for example, I plan to try and break it into a certain industry, right? For a career, right? I'm not currently there, but that's what I would like to do. But the way I see that is I'm using that to obviously create and build more stability within my life, but also to drive this, right? Yeah. And that's where I resonate with that because it's like, don't think this thing ain't coming. I'm just taking a different route. You know what I'm saying? Like I can understand that. Yeah. I think just when I hear, like from what I've seen from you and what I hear from you, I know that you can also embrace like imperfect things. Because I saw that when you were shooting with Kizzle that some things were imperfect. I know that something happened while y'all were shooting, right? Mm-hmm. And you pointed out that you were okay with the imperfections, whereas someone else might not have been. So I'm like, if you are so okay with the imperfections, then what is stopping you from having an imperfect start, but it is a start? So
it's again, like it just comes down to the fear, right? And I think for the longest, to keep it a buck, I was waiting for my parents to be like, what you want is valid. I was waiting for like some of my cousins and some of my friends to be like, what you want is valid. And I think I felt the need to have to prove that I can do everything but what I'm doing so that I can get the space for people to be like, go for what you want. Yeah. And I think that's where I've always misstepped because I'll know what I want, but I would always look for somebody else to give me confirmation. I'm like, go do it. And I think I'm finally at a place where I climb the top of the mountain. Yeah. Like I have the PhD. There's no higher I can go. Yeah. Right? And I have my life. Like I'm 30. You got this PhD. You've done everything anybody in the world has expected from me. Right. Like my parents only expected me to get a master's degree. Right. PhD surpassed what they wanted, so surpassed what everybody else wanted. Yeah. And now the question is like, Nigel, when is enough enough? When are you going to have the courage to go after what you want and not worry about all of that? And I think that's the chapter I'm entering, right? Yeah. I'm going for it.
And I feel like this is where I can really encourage you. Like this is where I like to really push people, and that's where I get a little like tough love with it. It's like, look, just start. If you got questions, ask me. Yeah. I can help because I can see it. I feel like you'd be so good at this. You have questions. Yeah. Like I said, you ask me questions. So I can see it within you. And I feel like there's so much behind you that will help you and inform the thing that you would have going on. Yeah. So this is where I'm like, do something. Yeah, bro. Like this is where I would grill you. I'm like, come on, do something.
I could even make a promise to you. Like I'm all in. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like when I move back home, my goal is like I'm all in. Yeah. And even if it's like a year of just saying like I'm not gonna work, I'm just gonna focus on this. I'm gonna see what I can do, and then if it leads to something cool, if not, I could fall back and I can get a job and then do it on the side. Right. Cool. But like I told myself, you've done so much for so many other people, and you poured into so many other people's expectations that it's time to let go of all of that, and then just go for what you want. And like I promise, man, like on everything, I'm going to be that person to like go after it. Because I have no more excuses and I have no more safety net. And so it's now all on me.
True. And again, I will be pushing behind you. I'm like, come on, bro. What's up? What's going on with it? Because it's when you see, I've seen more than one person say, okay, what's up with this? Like, when is this coming? You have people waiting on you. Like you've made a home away from home. You've built a community. You have people that are here waiting to hear and on the edge of their seats waiting to see what you do next. Yeah. So this is...
I don't know if you ever feel this though. I think there's also like a part of me that's like, I'm scared to be seen too.
Yes.
And I 100%. Think that's the part that I'm like starting to try to get to, even to your point of like, yo, have you ever had anybody call you a simp? One of my homeboys in Atlanta, bro, he goes around Atlanta and he just makes videos and he started to like really blow. Now I woke up today to a TikTok of somebody making a video and being like, yo, you know this guy? I am a hater. I hate him. Like the stuff that he does, like he doesn't help anything. Like
wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm seeing that in real time. I'm also reading like comments of other people who talk about certain stuff and like you got so much pushback. And even like, yo, the Kizzle video, like one of those joints when it went viral and I'm reading the comment section, I'm like, y'all creating this whole narrative based on little segment of what I said. And
it's like watch the whole, right.
You didn't watch the whole thing. 2,
yes.
You don't know me. 3, you're projecting. Like, how did you get to the, I mean, like those are little things that there's a part of me that's like scared of. I'm scared. And I know it comes with the territory. And it's one of those things where it's like, you gotta, it is what it is. Like people not always going to see the vision, but I think there's a part of me that's almost like hesitant to like throw myself out there because of the ways in which when I was younger, it was like, if you're going to present yourself, you got to present yourself as perfect. And if you can't get it perfect, then you're too much. You're not enough. You're going to go back and be lonely. And I think the only thing that I have, not the only thing, but the one thing that is I'm constantly reminding myself on the daily is that, to your point, yo, I got an incredible village around me. And I got people who I have seen gone to war.
Yes.
In comment sections. And it's not even like that they have to do that. But I just know now that I'm loved in a way that when I was younger and I was in the same position of chasing what I wanted, I didn't have the confidence because I thought I was just by myself. And I wasn't even by myself back then, but that's what I tricked myself into. But now I know, like, bro, I got people, I got supporters, I got love, I got everything I need. So now everything is legitimately on me.
Yeah, man. The people, like there will be people waiting. There will be people supporting. There will be people by your side, behind you, wherever you need. Like there are people that are here to help. And let me say, whenever you got questions, recommendations, advice, whatever, I'm here because like I've been doing this podcast for a while, and like I love again being able to let people tell their story, talk about who they are, what it is that they do. And like when ever since I've known you, I'm like, wow, this guy got it. Like because you have the literal knowledge behind it. Like some people have the talent, but without the knowledge, I feel like you have the talent with it. Yeah. So that's gonna make you go even further. And I think that's gonna inform and allow you to do so much better. And I just want to see it. I just want to see the action. And this is where I'm like, this is where I grill you, but this is where I'm with you as well, because I have to say those same things for me. Like it's after not shooting for a while, sometimes you could say I'm rusty, but it's like, I got to get back into it. You might be a little bit scared of being seen, but that does come with the territory. Now there are always going to be some weird activity going on with others that's outside of your control.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is what you asked for. This is what you wanted. So
I prayed for.
This is what you got to do.
I'm all in. But on the same accountability tip, like, what's good with you?
What you mean?
I need you to also not only like go in full gear, but I also need you to start like really reaching out and applying and going to different stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like we had a conversation earlier where I was like, bro, I'm about to apply to this Kizzle joint. Yo, you should.
About that, I was like, as much as I had to say, I feel like I wouldn't be able to. There's something about me that makes me feel like I wouldn't be able to bring a certain thing to that platform quite yet.
I don't agree.
So maybe it's just a conversation that needs to be had, but that's where I've thought. Not trying to think of it from an unhealthy standpoint, but I was like, I'm not sure what it would be yet, and I'm still trying to search for that thing. And then I'll be like, all right, let's do this. Because I would want to.
I'm gonna put you on the hot seat. What makes this show special?
What makes this show special? That is a great question. Well, I go to my guests typically and shoot wherever they are most comfortable. But what's the most special about it? I just try to be very genuine and authentic, as most people say, but I'm never really exactly clickbaity with it. It's like, if people resonate with this, cool. If they don't, cool. I'm not trying to, you know, sway you one way or another. I'm just hoping it connects with who it connects with. And then we'll build from there, because I don't want it to feel forced at all. So I want you to know that the effort is genuine, but I don't want it to feel forced at all.
So with that being said, then what makes this different than any other podcast?
I mean, me not saying I'm the greatest thing on earth, but I'm not on every. No. I'm just saying. Let me finish. Wait.
I gotta stop you. Okay. Right? Because you was about to give us a whole disclaimer. You said me, right? You are what make this podcast different, right?
Okay, yeah.
What about you? I don't want to hear the disclaimer. I don't want to be like, I'm not the da-da-da.
What I would say is my story, my experiences, but also usually I have a connection with almost everyone I speak to. Okay. And I think that, to me, that truly makes a difference. There have been episodes where I just met that person that day for the first time, or maybe recently, but with most of the episodes I do, I have some type of shared experience with them, or I know them personally. And it's like, I like being able to pull from an actual experience. Like I've looked at your work and all these different things, but I've also been out with you. I've also seen you in different areas. So it's like, if I didn't have nothing on the internet to see, I've seen you in real life, and I can pull from these things. And I think that always makes a difference.
So for the people who, because you say you have episodes with people who you met them on the day.
Yeah.
Were those episodes not special?
No, they weren't not special. No.
So they were still good.
Yes.
They were still fire.
Yes.
You still figured out your way.
Yes.
So you didn't have to have some level of like deep connection or seeing them out.
No, I don't have to, but I think that adds. It adds. I think that adds a layer.
Okay.
Yeah.
It adds
onto what I already do.
It's not a necessity.
Right.
So that means the formula still comes back to you.
Yes.
There's a level that you bring into the conversations with different people.
I see what you're doing.
So my point is, right?
I see what you're doing here.
You are the special sauce. You are the secret sauce. You are the reason why this is going. You are the reason why you have a fan base. You're the reason why guests even feel comfortable to say yes to something.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of times where people ask me to be on a podcast and I say no, right? I bet there's other people who they've had opportunities and they said yes to you and no to other people. So there's something about you specifically that allows this to thrive, that keeps people coming back, that keeps people engaged, right?
Why is he doing this to me?
That is the
Why is he doing this to me?
So if that is the truth, that is the truth, right?
Yeah.
Then whatever you're searching for is not some external accomplishment that you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's already in you.
Yeah.
So like whether it's on Express Yourself Black Man, shout out to Kizzle, by the way, because we've been talking about him a lot. Mm-hmm. Whether it's on any other platform, whether it's any other opportunity, you're already all that you need to be on it.
Okay. I received that. And thank you. I will take that in. And like I said, I will receive that. I was going to ask if there was anything else that you wanted to say to the people, but I feel like that is a great note. Because I feel like, again, that's where you're very consistent. Like, it came right back to where it all starts with you. And that's something that I've been seeing within basically everything that you do.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I would tell the people, look directly at the camera, is like, you are deserving of love in any stage that you're at. You're deserving of love. You are worthy of it. I'm going to leave it there. Because I think a lot of times we trick ourselves. We convince ourselves I'm not good enough.
Right.
I'll never be enough. I shouldn't receive this. It's like, no, you deserve it. Every level. Your lowest, your highest. You deserve it.
I'm glad that we've been able to do this. I'm going to have to make a trip to Boston.
Pull up.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Pull up on me.
Hopefully my team,
or
whoop y'all out there. Yeah.
Stop it. Or, I'm trying to tell you, Oklahoma.
Yeah. No. Hey, let me know. Let me know. We can make something work. We can make something work. But Nigel, I want to say thank you so much for being Dr. Nigel Marcellus Taylor.
Thank you
for being a guest. Thank you for, I guess, allowing me to be your first episode since you graduated.
Yeah, 1000%.
Yeah. And dude, you've been able to say so much. I've like I said, I was nervous at the beginning of this because I typically don't really prep a whole lot of questions, but I felt like there were certain questions I did want to bring to you. I do still have a bunch of questions I did want to ask you, but either we'll just talk about them off camera, or maybe for a future episode. But I'm so glad that we've been able to do this. I've been eager to do this, but I wanted to do it right. And I felt like we did a good job of doing that here.
1,000%.
And yeah, man,
I just want to say thank you, bro. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for even like honoring like the work that I do. Cause I know we scheduled this earlier and you were like, nah, I'm not ready. I want to prepare a little bit more.
Yeah.
Cause I think even the act of doing that made me have to reflect on myself and recognize like, bro, you're not just anybody. You know what I mean? Like this PhD means something. Yeah. I appreciate that you take it seriously.
Yeah.
Because I'm learning how to take it more serious.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like just from knowing you, I've learned to believe in myself and love myself a lot more. And I appreciate the brotherhood that we've created. And like, man, you already know how it goes. We definitely doing this again.
Yeah.
Eventually. So it's not even like a goodbye. But to everybody listening, I appreciate y'all. And definitely follow me. And I promise y'all I'm gonna get in that content bag. So
yeah, please.
I got you.
So thank you again to the listener, to the audience. I thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Highlight Reel. I hope that you've been able to take something away with Dr. Nigel Marcellus Taylor. Tell people where they can find you real quick.
Hey, y'all can find me on Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitter, whatever they call it now, Threads, damn near any site, YouTube. I'm about to start getting on my YouTube bag too. But Nigel Marcellus on everything. NigelMarcellus. Yes, I do have a PhD. Yes,
he does. And I usually end my episodes kind of a certain way, but I'm gonna kind of end it how you tend to end your speeches. I'm gonna just say peace and love. That's been your episode.
Peace and love.
That's it.